everybody, Super Squid here, the emotionally unstable gamer channel on YouTube. More big list time. So originally, I had these separated in two different posts because I had played. You can play through Devil May Cry with both characters. Luckily, I found this key art that has both of them, or this might be an edit that somebody did. But it's got the Capcom thing at the bottom, so I assume this is like official art that just merged both of them. But I'm just going to read both posts together because, like, I realized after the fact, it's like, yeah, it's my list, and I'll post what I want on there and do what I want on there and whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, they weren't enough different, I feel, of both sides to consider them separate games, even though when this game released, they actually had her story on a separate game disc, like it was a whole nother game. I decided I'm going to separate the posts for both Dante and Lucia's stories because not only did they originally come on two different discs, they are different enough and have different enough missions to make me feel it's justified. That actually is true. Her missions are a bit different, but I feel like as a whole it still felt like it would have been like part 2 of a game on one disc, less of like a whole nother game. First off is Dante's part of the story. I get this game gets a lot of flack, and I understand some of the complaints people have, but ultimately I enjoyed this one way more than the first game. Weapon selection was cool, but ultimately lacking. Music was cool, decent locales, the animations of Dante were really well done. Combat, when not fighting bosses, is really repetitious. Bosses, for the most part, are fun and interesting, even on the base difficulty, and you can't just stand still and hit things. I really don't like how the lock-on system works, but I got used to it. The final boss was fun. I felt like this game is kind of Dark Souls light. Haha. So yeah, I remember this one being harder even on like the lowest difficulty, which was fine with me because it gave me a little bit of a challenge, but I also didn't have to like deal with that when it came to normal enemies and shit, so I could still kind of like fly through the game. This was one of those games that it was just like, I feel like there's a story here, but it's not like it's super complicated or there's a lot of shit going on. So when I was younger and I just kind of like throttled games because playing video games is how I escaped from my like reality. And now it's like I look at them and enjoy them like in multiple ways, and I like looking at them with like a critical eye and being able to like figure out like, why did a developer do this and blah 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 blah, you know, whatever, like you get my point. But it's like, so I retain more pieces of the story, but this is still one of those games that, like, it's weird enough that, like, I feel like 10 years from now, I'm going to have the same problem where it's like, I remember pieces, and I might remember the whole game, but it just seems so, like, like, there's not a lot going on to actually be, like, substantial. It's like, I could probably tell you the whole plot of this game, like, everything you do off the top of my head. Maybe not necessarily in order, but I could tell you what was going on. And I would think that I forgot it because it's just so meh, but it's just that there's not a lot going on, so it's easy to remember. It's just bland. Lucia was far more fun to play in my opinion, and I loved her animations as well. A bunch of her missions were kind of rehashes, but the things that were mixed up were nice. I did enjoy redoing boss fights as her, even if most of them made no sense because Dante already killed those demons. My one real complaint about her mission solely has to do with the water mission and shitty boss fight that comes with it. Even though she isn't a super fleshed out character, I hope she's at least referenced in DMC5. I liked how her ending takes place after Dante's, and how some of her missions explain why things happened in Dante's missions and things that you didn't touch. Well, I accidentally fucking booped myself out of my menu again, because I am a doof. So I guess while I get back to this, I can, luckily I finished the post, talking about the post. But, so I don't actually know if she was referenced even a little bit in, Devil May Cry 5. I have not played it yet. It is fun, like, interesting fun fact. As far as I know, there might be a jump, so, like, Dante was already back for a little bit. But, God, my brain flatlined. I apologize. But this game is technically the last chronologically. Devil May Cry 3 takes place before everything else. So if I remember right, the chronological order of these games, funny enough, is 3, 4. It's 34125. 34125. Like, that's the chronological order of these games. I may have one misplaced, and it might be swapped with 4. But I think it's 34125. And that's just like the weirdest shit, like how they made it out of order. But I mean, this is Capcom, right? Yeah, it's Capcom, and they also made the Street Fighter series, which I know it's a fighting game, but those games are like wildly out of order too. You click things, explosions, mining for treasure, in that there hills. Also, there's a quest mode where you make a chair. I had good times. Good times. So, normally a game like this, it's not like it has a story mode or anything, but I found out it had a quest mode, and I was playing this because I was playing it in between games, just to, like, do something else. And that quest mode, allows you to do, like, puzzles and shit, and, like, different types of stuff, and it builds cool little images. So I was like, fuck it, I'll play this. And it has, like, some type of mode that I can finish, so I can put it on the list. And that was a good decision, and I liked it. And Bejeweled 3 is a lot of fun. Though I do love some of his movies, I've never been a huge Adam Sandler fan. That said, I really liked this special. It had a lot of heart, and he even made fun of his own work and made callbacks to things. The best part, though, was the 2 really heartfelt songs at the end that punched me in the feels. Definitely worth a watch. So if you like comedy stand-up, if you like Adam Sandler, like either of those 2 things, like I'd say definitely check this out. If you absolutely hate Adam Sandler, I don't think this is going to change your opinion of him. But like if you're like meh and don't really have an opinion either way, I think there's a lot of fun stuff here and stuff you can laugh at. And I like that he kind of turns into the skit of like he knows he's gotten older. And it's kind of fun, like, now, like, I never really watched a bunch of Saturday Night Live or anything, but I remember, like, seeing, like, little clips and stuff of him on there originally, and just seeing that baby-faced Adam Sandler, and then, like, this old man Adam Sandler, and it's just a really great, like, comparison difference. It's wild. Everyone is so attractive. And then I just, like, I typed a bunch of gibberish. I really like this. I thought it was a really good sequel. I think it was worth the wait, even though I feel like a lot of people, like, it's not like there was necessarily a wait, because, like, who thought that they were going to make a fucking sequel to Incredibles? Like, just off the top of your head, like, genuinely thought or had proof of. I mean, there might have been shit that I didn't know about, but it's like, were you really waiting? You know what I mean? Like, it's still like, oh, I love The Incredibles 1, so, like, I really hope the second one is really good. And I feel that, but it's like, if you don't know a sequel's coming, then how are you actually waiting for it? You know what I mean? But I thought it was really great. I thought the animation was absolutely incredible. Like, Disney and Pixar, like, just blew it out of the park. I love the aesthetic. I don't know if I'd say it's better than the first movie, but it's definitely, like, on par, if nothing else. It's good shit. It's a good time. Okay, flip through this. The first time I saw this movie, I was in some old house in the middle of nowhere with the windows open, wrapped in a shitty blanket, and it protected me from nothing. This movie scared the fuck out of me. Now, though, I really enjoyed the movie. It didn't remotely scare me. Jennifer Carpenter did an amazing job portraying someone possessed. She really brought it home and helped add to that spooky spooks. So I put Jennifer Carpenter there. Who is Laura Linney? Like, was Jennifer Carpenter just not known super well at this point? So, even though she's like unless I just fucking put the wrong person in there. So we're gonna go on a little adventure together again. Yeah, no, they just didn't put Homegirl's name on the box. I wonder if this was like the first thing she did. But in case... So Jennifer Carpenter, for those who don't know, or for those who have seen Dexter, but don't actually know the actress's name, that's Dexter's sister, Deborah, in Dexter. She did a really good job in this. I really enjoyed watching this movie. It was pretty good. Like, truly. Okay, so my favorite Devil May Cry so far. Way better presentation. The voice acting isn't laughable. The combat is wonderful. The stages are interesting, and so are the enemies. I had a fucking blast with this one, and I love the variety of boss fights and mechanics. So far, my favorite that I've played. Also, weapon variety is so nice. Can't wait to do Virgil's story and see what pieces I'm missing. So it turns out, when I played Virgil's story, and I feel like they did this more like going forward, because of the mission structure of Devil May Cry games, it's like it has a lot of replay value if you want to get like maxed out scores and shit on stuff. But it's like they'll give you the ability to play other characters that follow like mission structures. So it's like in Devil May Cry 4, I believe you have Nero and Dante, and some of their missions are varied. So there's 2 other characters that were added in like special editions. I think it was Trish and Lady, and I think Virgil might also be playable. I'm not sure, but they follow either Nero or Dante's stories. I don't remember which one is which, but it's like they play in those stories. And I need to play that one. I still haven't played it. I have like the special PS4 version. But it turns out Virgil's story was just literally Dante's story, basically, but with different weapons. And like there's one different intro cutscene, and it's like it plays it off like it's a different story, but it's like he's doing the exact same missions, and it's just like some of the missions in this game were kind of too much for me. But I love the combat. Like the combat in this game was the best part, and just like the goofy story and like young Dante being like wild emo mop top boy, like, is fun. This show reminds me of a good Final Fantasy game, and really, really makes me think about Final Fantasy IX. It doesn't help that Meliodas' English voice actor is Zidane's English voice actor. So many characters I'm in love with, but Bon is part of my soul. What a good boy. Give me more. Give me more of all of it, except for Gother. Fuck Gother. Fuck Gother since season 1. So, I really love the show, and I'm going to end up having to just read the manga because I've seen screenshots and heard that, like, the company that, like, took over the animation for the most recent season just, like, butchered it fucking hard. And I just don't even want to deal with that. And I know that there are people that have their qualms with this series and just, like, don't like it, and that's fine. You know, everybody's got different opinions. But I really love this show, and like I am afraid to watch the most recent season, and I want to. I really want to. But I'm so scared of the really shitty animation. Now, this is a great one to end the episode on. This game is a goddamn masterpiece. The music and the visuals and the feeling I got from playing it. I cried so much by the end of it. I was just in awe at what I just experienced from a game. It is so fucking beautiful, and you owe it to yourself to play it. What an amazing adventure. I'm thankful for this game. Also, if you have like a badass stereo system, because at the time, my best friend Chris was living here, and I used his stereo system to play this on my PS4, and like the surround sound of this game, like the sound design is absolutely incredible, and like it just fucking threw me through a wall. Like I was so emotional and like cried so much. And this is not a long game. This is not a complicated game. And I am a person that like I am afraid of the open sea and underwater. Like I think it's gorgeous. It's a magical wonderland and I love looking at it visually. But it terrifies the fuck out of me. So like this is just like I'm out in the middle of the ocean and I'm swimming and things can eat me. And, like, I don't know what secrets this game holds. And, like, there's a shark at certain points that, like, spooks you. And so, like, like it's just like there it's only once or twice, but there are like technically jump scares with the shark, and it was just like, oh, and my heart jumped out of my fucking chest. But like, this fucking game, like, play this game. I don't care who you are, play this game. Like, you need to play this fucking game, period. And that's gonna be it for this one. And I love you guys, and you're awesome, and thank you for watching, and suck my butt.